Act 1. Alicia's story. Chapter 1. The woman from Cienfuegos, Cuba. Pursuing a glamorous life can lead to a path of immoral desolation. Even pursuing the basic needs for survival, people are willing to sacrifice everything. This is the question that Alicia Sanchez must ask herself daily. Shortly after arriving in America, Alicia encounters choices of making a quick dollar so that she can provide for her younger sister. November 1983. A week before Thanksgiving. On the interstate I-75 heading north, a Greyhound bus is somewhere in Midland, Kentucky. The bus left several hours ago from Miami, Florida, for its destination, Detroit, Michigan. Passengers are traveling to visit their relatives. One particular woman who sits in the back of the coach is traveling for other reasons. Her name is Alicia Sanchez. She was a well-blossomed flower of African, Spanish, and Taino ancestry. Alicia sits in the window seat, wedged between a fat, middle-aged man. If it was not for her petite figure, she would have been crushed. The man sweated uncontrollably and had a musty, foul odor that he attempted to cover with cheap cologne. To keep her mind occupied from the uncomfortable seating arrangement, she tries to read a few Vogue magazines. However, her distractions was unsuccessful, as the thought about her sister constantly played in her mind. 1975. Cienfuegos, Cuba. Alicia thought about her life growing up in Cienfuegos, Cuba. It was a small town that resided off an open bay. It was a little quiet town where everyone knew each other and yet kept to themselves. For Alicia, there was nothing quiet about her life. Alicia was 14 at the time. She lived in a small apartment that was constructed in the late 1800s. The building's antiquity was showing by the faded pastel paint that chipped off the wall. She lives with her father, Fernando, Marisol, her mother, and Yasmin, her sister. Fernando made captain in the Cuban military. He had 150 men under his command. Fernando's job was stressful, in which most of the time he took his frustrations out on his wife. Alicia witnessed her mother beaten daily. Marisol was a beautiful woman. However, it was hard to tell with the bruises and cuts on her face. Whenever Marisol went to the market, she covered her facial bruises with makeup. Alicia helped her most of the time, in which it ignited her passion for cosmetology. When it came to Marisol's torn clothes, Alicia helped her mother stitch them, which also began her interest for fashion. 1978. On a particular Saturday night, Alicia's life changed for the worse. That night it was close to 11 when Fernando came home drunk. Marisol, Alicia, and Yasmin waited hours at the dinner table. Marisol cooked a typical Cuban meal which consisted of black beans, rice, and pollo loco. Fernando staggered into the kitchen and plopped down in his seat. He started eating his food in a beastly manner. He immediately spat it out. "Ay, la comida está frío." "Hey, the food is cold," Fernando said in a vile tone. I am sorry, but I tried to keep it warm," Marisol replied with trembling fear. "I don't know why I married such a useless woman," Fernando yelled. "Why do you treat me this way? What have I ever done to you?" "You don't ask me questions. I pay the bills here. If I say you are useless, then that's what you are. You can't cook, you can't clean, you can't even fuck. Maybe I should get a woman that can treat me right." Fernando turned his drunken, lustful eyes towards Alicia. He had been watching her since she started puberty and her body started to develop into womanhood. Fernando demanded Alicia to go to her room. Alicia hesitated at first until the palm of his hand landed on her cheek. Alicia quickly got up and scurried upstairs. Fernando soon followed without conviction. When Marisol heard the door close, she became enraged. Marisol grabbed a butcher knife from the kitchen sink and ordered Yasmin to stay in her seat. Marisol quickly went upstairs and rushed into the room. She saw Fernando unbuckling his pants. Fernando gave her a cold glare. "Get the fuck out," Fernando commanded. "Bastardo!" Marisol darted toward Fernando with the knife clenched in her hand tightly. Fernando raised his hand in defense. Marisol gave him a deep gash on his palm, but Fernando grabbed her. He overpowered Marisol by pushing her back, causing her to hit her head against the sharp corner of a dresser. Alicia saw the blood flowing from her mother's skull. Alicia ran to Marisol and shook her frantically, hoping for a response. Fernando spent a few nights in prison while Alicia and Yasmin stayed at a Catholic orphanage. They thought they were safe, however, their hopes were short-lived. Fernando's superior officer covered up Fernando's crime. Marisol's murder was written off as self-defense. However, he was demoted to private rank and was given a warning to clean up his act. Fernando was allowed to take his daughters home. Alicia knew that without her mother, she was next in line to receive Marisol's curse. 1982. The Cuban Migration. Shortly after Alicia returned home, the sexual abuse had begun. Alicia became pregnant twice, but lost it due to miscarriage. When Alicia turned 18, she found an opportunity to emancipate herself. Castro was sending any political prisoners, criminals, and citizens deemed unworthy of Cuban citizenship. Alicia was able to secure a boat ride for her and Yasmin. By shitty luck, Fernando was assigned to port duty, where Alicia and Yasmin's boat was docked. Fernando saw Alicia and Yasmin with luggage in tow. He immediately detained them. Fernando's commanding officer released Yasmin into his custody. However, Alicia was free to make her own decision to leave the country as she was considered an adult.